Hey guys, I'm Wanda and this is Crazy Days and the Cannon Kitchen is open. Today we're going to be canning potatoes, and so this is going to be a canning potatoes 101 kinda sorta. We're going to be talking about potatoes, different types of potatoes, and some of the processes that I do. I'm not necessarily going to walk you through every step of the potatoes today. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to be talking about canning for one. It's my Canning for One series, so we're putting everything in pints today. And so it's enough usually for 2 people for 1 meal, but it's enough for 1 person for 2 meals usually when you do a pint. Now, some people said something about half pints. You can do the half pints if you don't want to open and eat twice. That's doable, but I don't have that many half pints, and I have a lot of pints. And it's usually just Danny and I, so that's what we're going to do. We harvested a few potatoes off and on for the last couple of weeks, just enough to eat on. Then a few days ago we harvested 1 row. Yesterday we harvested a couple of rows, and today we finished up the last 3 rows. And you say, aren't you going to cure them? Well, yes, but Danny stuck the fork in a few. Not a lot, but a few. So I'm going to show you the ones. I've already done all the prep work inside because I had other things to do inside, so I did all the cutting up and all that kind of stuff inside today and had it all ready just to come out here and get started. One day we'll do just a video on prep work. I get a lot of people asking, hey, how do you prep this stuff? And I'm thinking, okay, I thought people knew how, so we'll start from scratch one day. But today the potatoes are already ready to go in the canner. Now usually you would take potatoes and you would steam them for 3 minutes in some boiling water. I think the canning book says 10 minutes, but I've tried 10 minutes. You have mashed potatoes by the time you run them through the pressure canner for 40 minutes. So you can raw pack potatoes. I do it when I do my English peas and my green beans, and today I'm going to be adding some English peas to some of the jars because I have a few, but the most of the jars will be just potatoes. These potatoes can be used for mashed potatoes, potato salad, in soups and stews. Just simply heat it up, add a little seasoning or butter. You can make fries out of them. And we're going to show you some seasonings that are just out of this world, hence Gemini Homestead. We're going to talk about that here in a little while. And we're just going to get started. I'm going to explain the Deep South potatoes, but the reason I didn't cure them was Danny stuck a fork in them. All right, these potatoes are the first potatoes. These are the Deep South potatoes. They're red Lesotas. It's one of the favorite potatoes that we have that we like. Now, I want to show you the difference. These are the red Lesotas. These are, let's see, what have I got here? These are the Kennebec whites. There's not much difference in the color, but these have a red skin. These have a white skin. That is the difference. Now, these are the red fingerlings. Now, they have a red skin just like these, but you can see the flesh inside is more of a creamy yellow looking color. These are the Yukon Gold. You see the difference, the creaminess, but they have the white skin as opposed to the red skin. And the reason you know the difference between these two is, look at the difference. The Kennebec whites versus the Yukon Gold. They both have a brown skin or light brown, but they're different in texture inside. Then, these are the Purple Majesty. Now, Danny and I planted blue potatoes last year, or purple potatoes, whatever you want to call it. These things are beautiful. And we like the taste of them, but not as much last year. They just seemed a little bit starchy. They tasted like a potato, but they tasted like a kind of a starchy potato. But this potato, the Purple Majesty, tastes a lot like this potato that we're used to. So we made fries. We've boiled them. I'm going to make some mashed potatoes. We're going to do a whole variety of stuff Now, I'm going to be adding some English peas to some of them, and then we're going to be doing just potatoes and others. Like the blue will just be the blue potatoes. And some of the Yukon Gold, the Yukon Golds will just be Yukon Gold because we want those for mashed potatoes. They make a great mashed potato or potato salad. While we're waiting on my water to boil, I'm going to take you inside and show you some of my potatoes that I have already canned, so you get an idea of what potatoes look like in a jar. Okay guys, we're in the house. I'm going to show you my potatoes. Now my potatoes are right here in the center of the shelves. Now some of these potatoes I left the skins on, and some I did not. So I only leave the skins or the peelings on potatoes the first 2 weeks after digging. That way they're still soft, tender, and they do really well when you just put them in a jar. You don't have to worry about peeling or anything like that. But after about 2 weeks, the peelings start hardening up, and it's best to just peel them. These are some that have the peelings on them. You can see the peelings in them, and you see how starchy it gets. That is normal for certain types of potatoes. Now the peelings are very thin, and we just usually use these with the peelings for French fries. I drain these off, and you can rinse them if you don't want this on there. Just drain them, rinse them, let them dry a little bit, sprinkle them in oil, shake them up a little bit, salt, any seasonings you want, and just air fry them, oven fry them, deep fry them, whichever way you like your fries. Now that is what I do with most of the ones with the peelings. Now these do not have peelings, and you see the water's pretty clear at the top, a little bit of starch at the bottom. This was one type of potato, but look at this one. You see how starchy? This is a different type of potato. So when I was showing you the different types of potatoes, know that some of them have more starch in them than others. Now these potatoes here are great for making potato salad or for making mashed potatoes. And a lot of you say, how do you do that? I empty the jar over in a pot and I bring it to a boil. It's just like you just peeled and boiled potatoes. They're hot, they're ready, they're already done. All you're doing is bringing it to a boil. When you get them hot, dump off all the juice, add in whatever you would to make mashed potatoes and make mashed potatoes. If you're making potato salad, dump it, add in all the ingredients for potato salad and make your potato salad. It's that simple. Instead of having to peel potatoes and cook potatoes, you're skipping a few steps and you're just getting them hot, draining them, and making mashed potatoes and potato salad. I usually use Ball Golden Harvest or Kerr jars, pint jars, and I use the Ball Silver rings. Now, what I usually do is use salt that is non-iodized, and I have many people ask why non-iodized. And the reason for that is lots of times iodized salt turns your jars cloudy. I like for mine to look nice. Now, we're going to be adding onion, because these are some more of my meals for one. We're going to be adding some English peas. And we're going to add these fingerling potatoes. So we've got our salt, our onion, our English peas, and our potatoes. We're going to add fresh water because we're raw packing. Now you can take and put your English peas in hot water for a minute. You can put your potatoes in hot water for 3 minutes. We're going to wipe the top and put our ring on. Now that's going to make one of our meal in a jar that we already have in a previous video, so that all you have to do is open it up and eat it. You can heat it and eat it, or you can add some butter, you can add some seasonings, whatever, it is fine. Now we're going to do 3 or 4 jars like that, but I wanted to show you the potatoes. Okay, so we're going to do the blue potatoes. This is going to be our first just potatoes. Now I did these as raw pack, and when you raw pack, you're going to have a little more starch in your jar when you're finished. You're going to have more starch than you would if you had blanched them first for 3 minutes. The blanching kind of takes away the starches somewhat. It won't take it away totally, but a little bit. And I have put in some onions in this because we do want a little bit of onions in with our potatoes, because it just gives them a really good taste in the end. Now you don't have to put onions in there, but I do recommend salt. I get a lot of people say, why do you put salt in there? Can I leave the salt out? I'm on a no sodium diet or whatever, or low sodium, and I don't need the salt. The salt is a preservation tool. Salt, sugar, all that is needed when you're canning. You can do it without it, and it really would last for a while, but salt just helps preserve it. And isn't that jar beautiful? It's going to be awesome. Now, it's not going to be that purple when we take it out. It's going to be a light grayish white color. These are the Yukon Gold. I'm going to put a couple of pieces of onion in there to give it some flavor, because I kind of like onions in my mashed potatoes. I like them in a lot of things, and this way I already have all this in the jar. All I have to do is open it up and mash it, add a touch of butter. We're good to go. A little more salt and pepper when you mash them, because quite frankly, the amount of salt, a half a teaspoon, is not a lot of salt in this, because it's used to preserve it. Now, that is really nice potatoes. Next, we're going to do some Deep South red Lesotho potatoes. This is by far our favorite, and we really like these potatoes. And I think I forgot to debubble the last ones, but if you pour slow enough and you pay attention, usually it's going to work out. I've never debubbled till I started YouTube. I did not even know what debubbling was until YouTube. Now, that's going to be some nice potatoes. And we fill it all the way up to this rim. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out the jars, and we'll come back in a few minutes. So we're down to the last 2 jars, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough for the 2 jars. I may end up having to go get one more potato to fill it out. It's going to be close. So what do you do if you do not have enough potatoes? I'm going to put some onions in there. I think this one would do okay with just potatoes and a few onions. But if you thought you needed another potato or 2, you can mix some of the red ones in with the white. It's not going to matter. The deal is they do have distinct taste. But once you can them, I don't think you're going to notice that you got 2 red potatoes in with the white. It's not going to be that big a deal. Today I was trying to keep my potatoes separate, so the white and the onions should be okay, and I won't have to mix. But just know you can mix potatoes. It's not a big deal if you mix 2 types of potatoes together. Now we're down to the last one. This is our red sodas. And it worked out just fine and dandy. I think we're going to be well pleased. And I've got a rubber mat down so I'm not banging something unnecessarily. We're going to try some water. Lots of times when you debubble it will move things around in there and give you a little bit more space than you had. Most of our jars are single potato type jars. You can mix them up if you need to, but we didn't have to. We're good to go. Isn't that awesome? So we have 9 jars. Some of them are just potatoes and 2 or 3 of them are English peas. Now what we're going to do, I turned this off because we're through with it. We're going to put the lid on. And I already had 3 quarts of water in here, and I'm turning it on up to high. And we're going to wait on this to steam out for approximately 10 minutes, and then we'll put the weight on. Okay, so one of my first things that I'm excited to do here in my canning kitchen involves Gemini Homestead. She sent me one of these shirts, and I got 2 shirts actually, a black one and this one. And I've got Miss Lippy's Bayou Blends. Look at this. Y'all. Now, these are gluten-free, nut-free, packaged by Miss Lippy herself, and Mr. Buddy, of course. This one's the Clucking Good. This one she designed exactly to go on chicken. I've used this on asparagus. I've used it on potatoes. I've used it on chicken. Let's see, what else have I put on? Squash. Anything, any veggie, the Clucking Good is really, really good on everything, not just chicken. So experiment. Now I gave away one of the Clucking Goods when she first came out with her spices. Now, the Porking Good. Lots of people are going to say, oh, it's just for pork. I don't eat pork, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear it. Porking Good. These spices are a great blend on pork. But again, I've tried it on asparagus, potatoes, squash, you name it. I've put it on. I've even put it on chicken. It doesn't matter. Just because it says Porking Good, again, you can use it. It's just a different variety from the other. It's a different blend. This one, to me, gives everything kind of a, I guess it's the paprika and stuff in it. Gives it kind of a barbecue type feel to it when you do it. It's amazing. I love the Porking Good. If I had to choose out of all 3 of them, I don't know which one I'd take first. It's hard to choose. But today, the swamp mix. And all of you are going to say she's Cajun and it's hot. No, these aren't hot. Some kind of a, like Mississippi's poor and we all poor and we live in paper shacks. No, we don't. We have nice places in Mississippi just like everywhere else. Just because Miss Lippy is Cajun and from Louisiana, she's living in Kentucky, guess what? Swamp mix is not really hot. Neither are the other 2. She's got a little bit of heat in them, but her daddy was a chef and he taught her, he said if you put too much heat in it, you're covering up all your other flavors. And Mr. Danny is big on being able to taste everything. He wants to taste things. And when he tried Miss Lippy's mixes, he said, I can taste the individual flavors in her mixes. She didn't hide it with a hot pepper. She put a touch of hot pepper, but you can taste what's in it. And I've used the swamp mix, like I said, with everything. We did it on roast. Oh my goodness. It is amazing on roast. It's just out of this world on roast. You can use it on any meat. Why not have it on hand? It goes on anything. So, potatoes. This is what I do to make potato fries. I open one of my jars and I drain them. So this is using my canned potatoes that we're making over here now. I drain those potatoes. You can rinse them if it's got too much starch for you, but kind of dry them because you want them a little on the dry side. Then take your oil, put some oil, about a spoonful of oil, and shake it really, really good. I take and put about a teaspoon, I'd say, to a pint jar. Yeah, it'd be about a teaspoon to a pint jar of Miss Lippy's Swamp Mix, or the Clucking Good, or the Porking Good. Any one you want, but Swamp Mix is really good on fries. You sprinkle it over it and toss them with the oils and everything already on it. It sticks. I throw them in the air fryer. Danny and I love them on the air fryer. We've been putting them on the grill. They're great on the grill. There's just, especially the Porking Good, and then grill those potatoes. They're already done. You just have to heat them really good and kind of crispy them up a little bit if you want them crispy, whatever. It's amazing. You can use your canned goods to make French fries. Some people like to put them over in oil. You can drain them, fry them in oil, and then season them when you take it out. That's what I would do if I was going to fry in oil. So, would you like one of Miss Lippy's Bayou Blend Swamp Mixes? I'm going to send it to somebody so you can try it. It's coming from Wanda's Cannon Kitchen here at Deep South Homestead and Crazy Days. So, in the comments, tell me what you would think you would put the Swamp Mix on. It's gluten-free and nut-free, GMO-free. She didn't put nothing that's got GMOs in it, you know, none of that. No fillers, no additives. It's simply the mixes. It beats Zatarain's, Tony Zachary's. Believe me, people have thrown that stuff away once they taste the Swamp Mix. So comment, tell me, what would you put it on? I'd like to see some unusual comments on what you would put it on. Yeah, squirrel, rabbit, rattlesnake, alligator, Swamp Mix. Alligator? You don't have to put it on alligator, just saying. So comment. We're going to watch this pot. We're going to get it going. I'm going to chill for a while. I'm going to grab my coffee. I've got it here somewhere. I keep it close handy. And, oh, by the way, Miss Lippy's making teas. She's going to have some tea blends out too. They're really good. I done tried one. Really good. So be looking for that. You can check out Miss Lippy's Bayou Blends on her Etsy store at Miss Lippy's Bayou Blends.etsy.com. We're going to wait on a pot. I have hot water. Isn't that awesome? Danny got it fixed this week. So we are rocking in the Cannon Kitchen. Okay, we're ready for the weight. 10 pounds of pressure. We're going to let it build up and start jiggling. And I liked what one of my subscribers said. You want the jiggler to jiggle like a hula dancer, not like Shakira. If you don't know who Shakira is, go look it up. A hula dancer is smooth and even most of the time, and the little valve just popped up, so we're good to wait on the jiggler. You do not start timing it till the jiggler starts. But check out Shakira. She moves them hips like crazy. You don't want it like Shakira, you want it like a hula dancer. This is my view while I sit and wait on the pot. Isn't that gorgeous? Quiet, peaceful. Just me and nature and God out here. Once it starts jiggling a little bit, I start turning it down just a little fraction at a time until I get it to stay this way. I also, once it gets to this point, I start my timer 40 minutes because we have potatoes in there, and potatoes go 40 minutes. English peas go 40 minutes. So everything, same amount of time. Now if you had something in there that took longer time, you would set it to whatever the longest length of time is. But both English peas and potatoes go 40 minutes. So you can put them in the same canner and can them. And as you see, it's just kind of like a hula dancer. It's staying normal. You don't want it jiggling more than that. It is done. Always turn this away from you and let it drip over because it's going to have some water. You don't want steam in your face. All right, one of my soup mixes. Another one, side dish, whatever you want to call it. Then we have another one. So we had 3 of those that have potatoes, onions, and English peas. The color of that one, that has to be the Yukon Gold. This one is the purple potatoes. This is some of the red with the skin still on them. The red Lesotas. Those are more of the Yukon Gold. More red Lesotas. And these are the Kennebec Whites. So once they've cooked, you can't really tell a whole lot of difference in the different ones, what they look like and things like that. But they all will taste like potatoes. They will work in any way, in any side dish you want. So we're through with the canning for today. 9 more jars, some of them simply potatoes, to make mashed potatoes for 1 to 2 people. That way you've got it ready to go. You can make potato salad. You can make French fries. Then we have our mix with our English peas, potatoes, and onions. So some more canning for 1 with what we have available. We didn't waste the potatoes that had the jabs in them where Danny stuck them with a fork. So we always use what we can. The rest of the potatoes I will probably be canning some over the next few days because I do like to leave the skins on some, and I will can some of those. And over the next month or 2 we'll be canning more potatoes. I won't be showing that all the time. This is just what I wanted to show you today, the different varieties. And remember, if you're going to be getting your potatoes from the store and you're going to can potatoes from a store, a couple of suggestions. 1, peel them. Do not leave the peels on because they do have chemicals or something possibly in them. You don't want to leave the peels on. Plus the peels are old. Like I told you, I only leave the peels on with the peelings on the first 2 weeks. Then I peel all my potatoes. So if you're buying them from a store, they're way older than 2 weeks old, and the peelings are tough. So do not leave your peelings on the store-bought potatoes. Also, just remember you can process them for 3 minutes in some boiling water. That takes some of the starches off because the older the potato gets, the more starch it has in it. So guys, if you want Miss Lippy's swamp mix, comment, tell me what you do with it. And that's it for today. The canning kitchen is closed.